money has a tendency to make you kind of lazy. True art is born out of hunger. Hunger comes from not having either money or having resources. And that really pushes you to the limit. You take somebody like Steven Spielberg, who's like God in Hollywood right now, and he conned his way onto the studio lot at Paramount Studios. And that's how he got his first job. And I think like his whole career is like that. When I started going to film school, like back in '85, I thought he was a really good filmmaker. That's because I didn't know any better. I mean, I was an audience as opposed to a filmmaker. Now I'm a filmmaker and audience simultaneously. I didn't like E.T. I thought it was fucking dreadful. I don't know why everybody loves that film. It was like the corniest piece of shit I've ever seen. I did like Jaws. My favorite film that he's ever done was a movie called Duel, which was the first movie he ever did. And it's about this guy in a little Plymouth Dart that's being chased down by this menacing trucker. Why it was so good is because there was no story. You know, it was just like all chase, and I think that's what he was perfect for. When Spielberg did Schindler's List, he said he wanted to be recognized as a filmmaker, and it's like he had like a group of like, I don't know, 4 to 8 people go research all these Holocaust victims and things like that. It's like when you're a real filmmaker, you're not gonna delegate that kind of responsibility to anybody. If he was really sincere about making a film about the Holocaust, he should have gone himself and interviewed these people, researched the facts, and wrote the fucking script himself. Maybe the script wouldn't have been great, but he would have had at least the basic story down and then hand it over to somebody that could put it in an articulate form so he could have shot it. I won't say all the filmmakers in Hollywood are that way, because they're not, but the majority of them are, and they're just con men. They con their way through a deal, they con their way, and you can't blame Hollywood. These guys are business people and they're promoters. And if you're an artist in some form, you're going to be not con man, but you're going to be a salesman or a pitch man. Let's say pitch man. And if you get the right pitch going and you get the right naive businessman going, you might be able to like work a deal with him and literally con him out of his money to like get your project green-lighted. I have nothing against Spielberg. I can appreciate what he's done, but as a filmmaker, I have very little respect for him, because to me, he's like an 11-year-old kid with a camera. All his movies are that kind of mentality. The kids are always the heroes. They're smarter than their parents. I know a lot of films today are being made that way, where the kid's always the hero and the parents are alcoholics and they're the villain in the film, or like the government's a villain. And as bad as even the political system is in the U.S., I don't think the politics is the villain. The villain to me, is all these organizations or entities, like religious organizations, entities like Hollywood, that promote a certain kind of fear, like if you don't get this, you won't be cool, or if you don't do this, like you're going to hell. It's the same thing. In other words, they're guilting people into handing over their money. I will give him this: he knows how to tell stories visually, but his story, they're like an 11-year-old kid's story. To me, I call it cotton candy filmmaking, because it's like cotton candy. Like when you take a bite out of cotton candy, it tastes great for about a quarter of a second, and then it melts in your mouth and disappears, and you go, what the fuck? His movies are like that. If I was editing his 2 hours and 20 minutes movies, I think they would make great 20-minute films. I always judge a movie by how much of the film is actually worth it. Now, I think every film is worth something, even one frame, one moment. But his movies, really, there's very rarely more than 20 minutes worth of film watching, because the rest of it is just, Bruce Willis says, shafra. It's just pure garbage. It's not worth shooting.